Welcome back to Spank Ranch Garage. Beautiful Saturday morning. Got the old 450 dozer up on the concrete here. Time to do some work on it. One problem I want to address. This rollover protection is not much rollover protection because both front legs of it are broken off the frame of the dozer. Now, this looks to me like a factory John Deere ROPS, but the way this is mounted is super cheesy. I don't know if they're all that way or not, but either way, all the welds broke, and this thing's just floating around. And one, it's unsafe, and two, when you're driving this dozer, this thing's just, you know, hammering everything, makes the whole thing feel like a piece of crap. So, unfortunately, this is not a straightforward repair. The lift cylinder's got to come out, the floor plate's got to come out, the hose has got to come out, and a couple other things. Well, first things first, it is hot out today, so I will be prioritizing hydration just for my own safety. Now you can see here, the base of this rollover protection is just trash. It looks like at some time it was supposed to weld to the top of this dozer frame here, and it's just gone. I mean, the welds are just totally broken clean off. It's to the point where it's settled. This up here is the pin to get the lift cylinder out, and it's settled and fallen forward so much you couldn't even do that if you wanted to. So I got to tear this whole thing apart, get room to get in here, and start laying some hellacious welds in here. Now I could get away with just tack welding this thing back together to stop the rattle, but being that I'm an inexperienced dozer operator and I'm going to be working on a mountain with this, I figured having the correct rollover protection is probably worth its weight in welding wire and repair time. One of them things, I had to pressure wash this just to see what the heck I'm dealing with here. It don't look too bad. It looks like there's a roll pin in the back of this pin. I'll drive that out, hopefully pull on that pin, get the cylinder out of the way, and then I should be able to work on getting that bracket reset. Now the pin turns, so it can't be that seized. Actually slid out a little too. That's good news. I don't like this pin design. About to say I don't like this pin design, but I can't think of any other time I've just slid a pin out almost by hand on a 30-year-old piece of equipment. Oh my goodness, look at that. Wow. Ain't even that worn. Wow. I don't think anyone greased these ever, but maybe. That's crazy. You know, I'd rather be prepared than not prepared, and this just doesn't seem, I don't know, just not getting a great vibe from it. Got a piece of aluminum stuck in here to protect the hoses. So the hoses are pretty well shot, so I'm just protecting them so I don't have a leak here and a fire. I gotta cut some of this old weld off to give me some space to bring the new one in. Gonna need room to lay my beads, so I need to get this old crap out of here. Plus, this will burn out some of that grease that I'm having trouble getting out on the inside here with a wire brush. Woo! One thing that I do now that I never did before is wear earplugs when I'm welding. And it's not because of the noise, it's because of the slag that can bounce in your ear. I've had it happen 3 or 4 times now. I've been extremely fortunate to not lose my hearing or have any substantial damage, but it is incredibly uncomfortable. And even welding in this upright position, even when I tacked that, a coal somehow bounced off of something, went behind my helmet, and hit me in the ear. It's impossible to avoid. So from now on, when you're doing slaggy welding like this, it's earplugs. Got the bracket attached again. It's welded. Now, I don't know how to stick weld, so I'm just doing what I can with this. But I got plenty of heat in it. I got, I don't know, like 10, 60, 11s dumped into this thing. Fat weld everywhere. I forget what the saying is. I don't know, there's a saying for where you just weld on everything so you have no idea what you're doing. But anyway, that is mounted now. Now you can see there's an offset here, right? I've got a hole here and a hole here. So this whole cage has like tweaked over time from when that piece broke and fell forward, kind of tweaked the cage. So I think there's gonna be a little come along action going on here to get this tweaked back, get the bolts through. It makes these foot bolts for this inconvenient. Almost like it shouldn't be that way. Maybe this whole thing should have been moved forward, but if you look through here, right, these holes line up with the pin bore. So this thing can't really be in the wrong location unless this entire bracket at some point has been pushed back, or maybe this has been pushed forward. I have no idea what's going on here. Clean it up and weld it up. Is what it is. I want to get started on the other side. Whole lot of support this was giving me. So I got this taken apart and I look at the inside weld failure. I mean, hold on. I don't know how this shows up. Look at that. That's a machined surface. Other than this little notch right here that tore out, that's nothing. It hasn't even been welded. So now I'm wondering, like, did somebody have a bad day in Iowa back in the 60s? Or was this a dealer installed ROPS? Maybe this machine was just a crawler with a 6-way. Or did, you know, somebody buy this 30 years later and install the ROPS on it and they could only weld the outside? I don't know what the hell happened here, but this surface has never been welded on, other than this little tack weld here and a little bit up on the nose here. I mean, that looks like it just came off a milling machine. It's even chamfered to weld and it's never been welded. So no wonder this thing fell off. But I'm just surprised I'm the guy finding it now, 50, 60 years later. So whatever, we'll do the same thing we did on the other side. I'm probably gonna get rained out here. But the nice thing about stick welding is you can't blow my gas away. So I'm gonna work through the rain here. But anyway, yeah, I just thought that was interesting. This thing doesn't have a dop of weld on the top or the bottom of it. I don't know. It's just really interesting working on this old equipment. You don't know the story, you don't know the history. Storm has passed. We're back on the business here. A little different strategy on this one. So I'm using the come along to squeeze the cage the way that I need it to, and got this thing lined up pretty nice here. And then I chamfered that bracket from the top, so that way I could do all my welding from the top for 100% penetration. Should come out a lot better than the other side. You live and learn. I'm not even going to bother taking the foot plate off of this one. We've got the old Vivor out here, and then I got a certified welder here that has not been drinking all day, so he's gonna lay some beads. And See if that goes a little better than what I would do. So my buddy Jesse come by and he burned this one in for me and did a way nicer job than I would be able to do. But that's all right. Sometimes you gotta tap in when you need it. So this cage is really nicely attached on this side. And as you can see, right down the middle, that's the pin bore there. This whole thing was dropped previously, where this plate was actually riding on the top of the footwell. So got some reassembly to do. I want to get this cage all bolted in, then I can put the cylinders back in. What's on there? Anyway, so this is finally wrapped up. It's actually been a few months. I never filmed the outro. But you can see here, when you look down the bore, now the pin for the cylinder is centered in the bracket. And you've got space between the ROPS and your foot area here. Alright, you can see it on this side as well. The pin is centered up in there. And you've actually got space here now. And the issue before was this was just riding straight on this foot pad, just making a hell of a racket, shaking around. So it's nice that this is all solid again. It's interesting, definitely something to look out for if you're looking to purchase one of these dozers. They're not all like this, but I have seen A, B, and C models like this. I've also seen C models that are different. And then obviously the loader configuration is much different, and I think it's much more robust. Don't know all the details on what John Deere was doing with that back in the day, but I'm learning new stuff every day. So anyway, we've got plenty of dozer stuff coming up. Well, as always, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching Spank Ranch Garage. I'll see you soon.